welcome back to our Bridge Kids broadcast.
Yes.
How are you guys doing today? Emily, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel very well rested, got a lot of sleep. I feel a lot better now that we're in a pretty good routine at our house. We have lots of craft times, we have lots of playtime. Yeah, it's been nice. We've been able to get outside some.
Good.
How are you doing?
We're doing really good too. I think the weather is going to warm up, and so we're going to go outside and play, and we've been doing a lot of crafts. A lot of fun Go Noodle videos. If you guys know about Go Noodle, they're fun little videos you can do with your kids. So we've been having a good time.
Let's post that link.
Yes. So I just wanted to start off this morning by asking you guys if there's something that you're looking forward to doing this next week that you have talked about with your family. Maybe you guys are going to go to a park, or maybe you're going to do a special activity or cook some special cookies. So yeah, I just want to ask you guys, talk really quick with your family about something you're looking forward to doing, or maybe you can talk about something that you would like to do right now and let your mom and dad know about it.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll go ahead and get started with our lesson. We are going to, last week we talked about how Jesus was our good shepherd, and we talked about how we can use Jesus, or we can't use Jesus, but Jesus guides us and protects us, and we can talk to him anytime. And so this week we're going to talk about the story of the Good Samaritan. Now before we get started, if you have your papers that we prepared yesterday, you can go ahead and take those out, or if you just want to grab a quick piece of paper, you can do that. Draw a little person on here, and then on this person, what I want you guys to think about is all the different ways that people are different than us. So on my person, I wrote maybe I have brown eyes, so maybe I would write green eyes. So you can talk about maybe a different eye color. You can talk about maybe how somebody is always happy or somebody is always angry. You can talk about different clothes that people wear. You can talk about maybe different hair colors. They live in a different house. Maybe somebody lives in an apartment or in a condo instead of a house. So just fill that person with all the differences that you see in somebody. And then after you finish that, just kind of put it off to the side because we're going to come back to it later on in our lesson. So, yeah.
Are we ready to get started
I think we're ready to get started with our lesson. We are in the story of the Good Samaritan, and that is going to be in, let me get my Bible out here. I'm going to pull the papers up. That is going to be, lost that paper too. Lost the story. Hang on with me 1 second.
We're going to be in Luke chapter 10.
Luke chapter 10.
And we'll see what verse we start in.
Yeah, we're going to start in verse 25.
Verse 25.
So the story of the Good Samaritan. Now, as I read, Miss Courtney's going to act out using some finger puppets.
Yes, I have.
Yes, so Luke 10, verse 25. One day, an authority on the law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to receive eternal life? What is written in the law? Jesus replied. How do you understand it? And he answered, love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul. Love him with all of your strength and with all of your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do that and you will live. But the man wanted to make himself look good. So he asked Jesus, who is my neighbor? Jesus replied, and here goes our story. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Robbers attacked him. They stripped off his clothes and beat him, and then they went away, leaving him almost dead. So he was laying on the ground, barely breathing. A priest happened to be going down the same road. When he saw the man, he passed on the other side. He didn't even stop. He just kept on walking.
He did.
A Levite also came by, and when he saw the man, he passed on the other side too.
I'm not going to help that guy.
But then a Samaritan came to a place where the man was. When he saw the man, he felt sorry for him. Oh. He went down, poured olive oil and wine on his wounds, and then he put a bandage on them. It's our Band-Aid.
There we go.
Then he took the man, put him on his own donkey, and he brought him to an inn to take care of him. The next day, He took out 2 silver coins, and he gave them to the owner of the inn. "Take care of him," he said, "and when I return, I will pay you back any extra expense you may have." Which of the 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man that was attacked by the robbers? The authority on the law replied, "The one who felt sorry for him." And then Jesus said, "Go and do as he did." Now, back in Jesus' time, the Samaritans were very different people. They were people that other people didn't want to live near them, that they didn't want to help them out. But Jesus tells us, just like in the Bible, he tells us that we have to love our neighbors. People that we might not even like, people that are always really mean,
Yes.
like people who may hurt our feelings. The Bible tells us, Jesus tells us, that we have to love those people, just like we love our brothers and sisters, just like we love our parents and our grandparents. So in the story, the important meaning was that our neighbor is anyone who needs us, and that we can help our neighbors, just like all of those people, those 2 other people, the priest and the Levite, who passed that man that was laying on the ground. And then the Samaritan showed up, and he stopped. He took time out of his day to help that person. Did he know that person?
No.
No, he
was
didn't know.
A complete stranger. Just someone who needed help.
Just someone who needed help. So that Samaritan stopped, and he took care of. He met the needs of that person laying on the ground. Not only did he do that, but he took them back to a hotel. An inn is like a motel or a hotel, and he took care of him, and he paid for all those expenses to help him. So, should I go ahead and do the other side?
Sure, yes.
So on your paper, before we get to our questions, on your paper, on that one side, we had all the ways that people are different than us. And then if you flip it over, and on the other side, I want you guys to think about different ways that we can be the Good Samaritan. So I know for me, and I don't know if you have anything different to add, I know for me, helping others is kind of difficult sometimes. Sometimes I might not feel like it. I might be too tired. I might think, I don't want to take my time out and stop and help my brother with something. Mm-hmm. So for me, helping my brother is a really good way that you can be a Good Samaritan. Do you have any other ways that you could be a Good Samaritan?
I think sometimes we can be a Good Samaritan just by being friendly to someone who maybe is a little bit different, or if there's a quiet person in your class that is kind of shy, you can be a Good Samaritan to them by inviting them to play with you, and just by trying to include everybody and not leaving people out.
I like that. So a couple of questions for you guys to think about is,
oh, yes. So could you tell someone right now about a time that you helped somebody? Can you think of a time where somebody maybe was eating lunch alone and you sat by them? Or maybe one of your friends fell down on the playground and you went and helped them up. So just think about a time that you were the Good Samaritan, that you helped somebody. And also something else to think about, kind of like Miss Emily was just talking about, is why are we sometimes slow to help other people out?
Yeah.
What are some things that can keep us from helping other people? And like Miss Emily said, you get busy with your own schedule.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might even be embarrassed to help other people. We might feel like we're not equipped to help that person, and so we just don't. But I think that sometimes if you just even trying to help them really, really shows that you care.
Yeah, and I think for me, sometimes it's really hard, especially when somebody's been really mean to me, for me to just say, oh, I'm still going to help that person. And I remember one time when I was a kid, somebody was really mean to me on the playground. They wouldn't share the swing with me or something. And I remember that person fell. And so much of me wanted to just walk away or even laugh at them. But instead, I had to go help them because I knew that I was supposed to be like Jesus. And so I went over and I helped them up even though I didn't really feel like it, even though I was thinking, wow, that person was mean. They might deserve to fall off the swing. But instead, I chose to go help them. So that's a really good way to just be a good Samaritan to somebody.
Yeah, that's a great example. And then our last question is, what can we learn from Jesus' story about the Samaritan? What's something that we can learn about how we should act?
Yeah. And I think maybe since those other two people just walked past, they were like, I don't have time to stop. I'm just going to keep walking. And the Good Samaritan, he demonstrated because he stopped what he was doing. He might have been on a mission to go to another town. He might have been on a mission to maybe go get some dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was on a mission, but he stopped and he helped. So I think that, this story demonstrates exactly what Jesus would want us to do in our life.
Yes.
So to close us out, I do have a couple of different craft options for you to do at home, some different activities. So if you go to our Bridge Facebook page, our Bridge Kids Facebook page, these links will be right here. So that way all you have to do is print them out and you can color them, you can put them all together. So our first craft is a Good Samaritan medical bag. So you can color some different things that you might see when you go to the doctor. And then you can cut out the bag and you can make your own little medical supplies bag. Now, when I made this, I was thinking this is a really good reminder for me to stop and help somebody if they need help and to demonstrate God's love to them. So this was a really good reminder for that. So you can make yourself a little medical bag full of stuff. And then there are also a game for some of the older kids, a game where you can fill in some different ways that you can be a Good Samaritan and demonstrate God's love in your friendship, at home, by being nice to others, maybe even just doing responsibilities and chores at home. So that's a really good way. You can cut it out and fold it up. And then our last one, it'll come in a full sheet like this, so you can cut it up and it'll show you where to cut, and you can make yourself a retelling of the story of the Good Samaritan. So it has little flaps that fold down, and then at the very end it shows us that Good Samaritan was the one that stopped. So we're so excited about this week. Make sure you stay tuned to our Bridge Kids Facebook page for all the latest information and updates and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.